Buddy, my name is Derek Peterson. I am the president of Hope Holdings, the founder and CEO of OneWay.com. In my continuing series reviewing alternative social networks, in this video, we're going to cover basically video platforms, alternative video platforms. There's a lot of them for some reason that are popping up all over the place. It's amazing how many of these things are popping up. I don't understand it because it's not a cheap business model, right, to run. But there's a bunch of them. I just listed a few here that I knew of or that I'd heard of recently, and just found one that I hadn't heard of. And so we'll just kind of cover them quickly, and just go through some of the basics, some of the bigger name ones, I guess, that people are talking about and reposting from and such. All the socials probably, by the way, also have their own video platforms like OneWay.com does. We try not to focus on being a video hosting service. We want to be more of a content creator, focus and social focus. But these guys are focusing exclusively on video platforms. So first up, let's talk about BitChute. BitChute's a great one. Ray Vahey is the founder. I think there's more than one founder. I know Ray, full disclaimer, I know Ray. I've talked to Ray quite a bit, and we've discussed, the internet and free speech and all these issues that we're all facing today. He's a really good guy. He's a very sincere, nice guy, right? He's not a grifter or a player at all. They've gotten almost no money, and they've done a good job, right? Honestly, as far as what I can tell from the video platforms, I think it's the most complete. They're probably the most forward thinking as far as technologies go. These guys are really the ones who are really most efficiently implementing this peer-to-peer technology where to cut down on bandwidth costs. Now, some people complain about that because you're sharing IP addresses with other folks potentially. So, it's always a good idea to use some kind of service to hide your IP address anyhow. But even if you don't, it's not like it's giving your physical home address or something. But anyway, so there is that downside to the technology, but the upside is huge because it allows companies like BitChute to compete with YouTube in a cost-effective manner. Otherwise, they would never in a million years be able to do it cost-effectively. Now, this site, bit.tube, I just heard of them today. I've heard of them before. Just another video hosting platform. Don't know anything about them. Just showing an example. There's another one called DTube, and there's tons of these video platforms. Like I said, I just don't understand how they're paying for all this. And it's expensive. It's not a good idea as far as for all of us to be reposting videos everywhere, right? I don't really like this idea. These content creators, they'll post all their videos on BitChute, and they'll go to Real.video, and they'll go to OneWay or go here, and I want to post their videos on every single platform. That's expensive, folks. You're costing all these free speech people a lot of money doing that. Pick a platform and post there and use it and support it. And try to, instead of just costing everybody money and not really helping anybody or promoting anybody, pick one. World doesn't revolve around you. No free lunches. Okay. So I don't know anything about these guys, right? BitChute, regarding the porn stuff, BitChute, I think is the only one that I know of that doesn't allow any pornography. They do have nudity, but I haven't seen very much of it. I've spent quite a bit of time on BitChute. I haven't seen very much of that kind of content. Seems to have really good content by and large. BitTube, I don't know anything about. I just did a quick search. They have a lot of nudity. And I don't know how far that goes or they get into porn and things like that. But, buyer beware there. But like I said, there's tons of these video platforms out there, right? Real.video, this one's owned. I don't know anything about the ownership here or anything else either, by the way. I don't even bother trying to look it up because, like I said, there's a gazillion of these things now. They're popping up all over. Real.video, this one's owned by Mike Adams. And as far as this free speech principles go, I know BitChute is very good on free speech, 100% free speech. They're very good like that. and they're not biased at all as far as who uploads what content. They're not even biased. They just share videos like in their social, like on Twitter and things like that, and they're not even biased on what videos they share, right? Um, which is nicer than I would be. BitTube, I don't know anything about their free speech principles, but look, basically, just at first glance, it looks mostly girls in bikinis, right? Real Dot Video, I wouldn't call this, again, it's Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, right? If you've heard of him, he owns Natural News website. I like Mike Adams a lot, right? I attribute his website to one of the 10 or 15 websites that helped me keep alive when things weren't good. And so I'm grateful for him and for his website and all his hard work in the health world. Not knocking him there at all. I wouldn't consider Real Dot Video an alternative video source. It's site. I mean, he's come right out and said he doesn't want any Antifa or communist stuff and things like that kind of content on the site. So you can't really say it's 100% free speech sort of a site. But, and I don't blame him, by the way, for that either. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He's paying for all this. I mean, from what I heard, he's spending $1 million on this platform of his own money, right? So whatever. I mean, you can't knock the guy for spending $1 million of his own money trying to do good, right? And it's expensive, like I said, to host and to deliver these videos. So he doesn't want to pay for content he doesn't agree with 100%. I mean, he might not agree with everything, but he doesn't want to do anything that's anti his beliefs, right? So I don't knock him for that. I'm just telling you up front that I wouldn't consider it 100% free speech site, but it's a great site if you're conservative, Christian, gun advocate, health, all that kind of stuff. I doubt very strongly that he would censor anything like that or prevent it from going on a site or take it off a site. I just saw something he put out the other day talking about these kids that record themselves doing video games and stuff, and he said he's removing that content, doesn't want any more of that content on the website. I don't blame him for that either. It's a waste of space. Who wants to watch somebody play Pac-Man or whatever game they're playing? It's like, it's ridiculous. But these kids do this all day long. They just record themselves playing video games nowadays. But anyway, so, I don't knock them for that. I'm just telling you up front what it is, right? They're just serving videos regular, by the way. They're not using peer-to-peer. I think they plan to use peer-to-peer type technology in the future. But, it's not easy, and they're spending a lot of money. He's going to have to probably fund this thing for another year or so, I would say. All of these are very expensive endeavors. I've talked to some of these guys in depth, and it's a very expensive endeavor, what they're doing. The site that to me is the most, I mean, BitChute's very interesting. The peer-to-peer technology is very interesting. The site that to me is the best tech, that the thing that to me is what the future is something called PeerTube. We're building something similar to this, right? In full disclosure, but basically, that's interesting. PeerTube and Real Video have almost the same logo. Look at that. That's weird. I wonder whose was first. Anyway, what they're doing basically is they're doing the same thing that BitChute is doing, that Ray's doing over at BitChute. They're doing the peer-to-peer stuff to cut down on bandwidth charges, but they're doing it in the Fediverse, which is a really interesting concept to me, and to me is the future. If you watch my video on the future of social networking, basically, just real quick, what the Fediverse is, you have a bunch of sites all over the place. Everyone has their own social network, right? Their own video platform. You can put it on your local or put it on a server, whatever, right? And then you upload your videos there. And then those videos, all these websites all over the place, these nodes they're called, or instances, are all connected to each other, right? And so I have an instance here, you have an instance there. I have my videos, you have your videos. They're on separate servers, but they act like it's just one server. And so you can see everything back and forth. And you're using the peer-to-peer technology on top of it. That to me is a great model. It's a very decentralized model. And it's the model that we should all be seeking out going forward in the future. So again, I don't know anything about, this is open source software, I guess, I'm sure. And, I don't know anything about which sites are which there, as far as the porn and all that kind of stuff goes. But, use your common sense, do your research first there. But there's tons of these video platforms popping up all over the place. All I can say is pick one like BitChute or Real.video or someone and just stick with it, right? And just support that one site, drive traffic there, try to build an audience and a following there. Don't spread yourself super thin and then take a bunch of money out of the conservative movement by posting your videos everywhere, right? People pay for that stuff. It's expensive. So, all right, that's my review of the video socials. Thanks. I'm Derek from Hope Holdings.